Oh, I get to banish more cards face down, don't I? And then I can unlock more zones. Guess what? I banished more cards. Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. Today we have been experimenting with the new Master Duel Kashtira cards that have been released. Now it's still missing quite a few key pieces, but I really want to play with these new cards, especially after my terrible unboxing. If you haven't seen it, it's on the channel. But today we are experimenting with Gren Maju Kashtira. Now this is a very janky list, so I do recommend if you really want this deck to wait for the new Kashtira support to come out, when I'll do another video on that then. But let me show you the list. It's pretty funny. So here is the list. Let me just do a card by card. So first I'm just going to get out the way the Master Duel tax. We have 3 Maxi and 3 Ash Blossom. I mean, do I need to explain anything about those? We run 2 Side Beasts, since you can banish one of your Kashtiras to make it level 7, which is really nice for your extra deck plays. Then we have, of course, the boy, 2 Gren Maju to Isa. I found 3 was too bricky, but 2 is enough that you see it in a few games and it does catch people off guard, especially when they're just expecting like pure cash. Then we have 2 Kashtira Rise Hearts. The reason we run 2 is because I don't want to craft a third, because I don't know if I'm going to run 3, so that's why we run Reinforcement with the Army as well, just to search that. We run 2 Dimension Shifter because this deck, 1 wants to banish cards and 2 doesn't care about banishing cards, so it's an auto-include. We have 3 The Ascended of Thunder, which is just a special summon level 7. You can get this in Legacy packs, so don't feel the need to craft this. We have 2 Kashtira Fenrir, just because it's an amazing card. You can put this in pretty much every deck, so that's a very safe craft. We have 3 Kashtira Unicorns to search your birth, and 2 Kashtira Ogre to search your one-of trap that you have. We have the previously mentioned Rota. We run 2 Pop Desires, mainly to beef up the Gren Maju, and also you banish face down, so that kind of counts for the Shangri era. The reason we don't run 3 is because you draw 2 Pop Desires off of Pop Desires once, and then you never run 3 again. Triple Taxi's talent just because it's insane. Like, they want to ash so many of your plays that if they do, you can just rip a card out of their hand. Pot of Prosperity, because you can really select which extra deck monsters you want to get rid of, because we run so many duplicates. 2 Kashtira Birth, because I found 3 really bricky, and you only really need to see 1, and if they pop it, you can search another one with Unicorn anyway. 3 Evenly Matched for our going second, same with Infinite Permanence, plus this is done once per turn. I've seen some people run the Effect Veiler just because it's a tuner, and then running level 8 Synchros, but that's way too bricky for me, and plus you can't play it under Shifter, so Infinite Permanence is the way. Macrocosmos for going first, and of course the Kashtira Trap. For our extra deck, we have 3 Big Eye, just because you can steal a monster, level 7, nice. Galaxy Tomahawk, never really go into this, but it can be quite useful if you're going into your Muckraker. We run Titanic Moth, just because it can attack directly and is level 7, or rank 7, so you can use it for your Zeus plays. We then have 3 Diabolosis, which I pray to God this gets banned, it's so broken. And of course 3 Shangri-Ira, mainly because you don't want their Mind Hacker to take your Shangri-Ira. And of course a Zeus, because we have so many Xyz plays. We run the Muckraker on the off chance that we can special summon the Gren Maju. It's very nice against Tyr, because if they mill your Maju, you can bring it out for a nice surprise play. And a Unicorn, just because I ran out of things to put in the extra deck. So that's it for the list. Let's jump straight into the games. So the beauty of this deck is Gren Maju isn't the centre. Whilst it's a very good surprise play, the Kashtira core on its own is amazing, so if you don't see Maju, you're fine. We're going second in this match, and we've drawn a pretty good hand. We've got Gren Maju and Pop Desires, plus all the Kashtira cards. He's going to normal summon Reinhardt, ditching the Shiren and going into the Kit Kalos. And he's going to use the Kit Kalos to add the Merly. Activated the Kit Kalos to summon the Merly, using Chain 1 Kit Kalos, Chain 2 Merly to mill a bunch of cards, including a Kelback and a Rhino Heart. Some good hits there, unfortunately for us. He's going to mill cards, ignore the Nibiru, I took that out because it was just useless. He's going to summon the Rhino Heart and then use... what was even that card? The Lightsworn Archer. What a legend. So he's going to shuffle back the Kit Kalos and the Shiren to go into Rukalos. He's then going to bring back the Archer and go into Chaos Ruler. Pretty scary board so far already. He's then going to excavate 5. Let's see if he gets off the top. Gets a few Millers, Call of the Haunted, and Red Resonator. He's just going to pitch those and use Jerusalem to banish Artifiru, that's no longer in the deck. And then go into Sprint. He's going to send a Mecha Phantom Beast. This guy is cooking. He's going to summon the token of Phantom Beast, go into the Zombie Vampire. He's going to activate Zombie Vampire to mill 4 more. Turns out he got a Destrudo, so he's going to summon that to the field and then go into Baron the Floor. Summoning Baron the Floor, he's going to activate the Chaos Ruler to banish some from the grave, and then bring back the Chaos Ruler once again. He's then going to activate Shinobi Necro to bring it back since it got banished, and then using the Shinobi Necro and the Chaos Ruler, he's going to go into the Swoswol, the Chengying. Then he's bringing back the Chaos Ruler once again. This card is fair and balanced, and this is a pretty devious board to get over. What do we draw? We draw a Kashtira Birth that's quite nice. Let's start off with the Pot Desires. We'll banish 10, we don't care if it gets negated. Luckily it doesn't. We use the Infinite Impermanence to negate the Baron, just to stop the negate. We're going to Special Summon Fenrir, add another Fenrir, activate the Birth, and Special Summon the Ascended Thunder. So we have 2 7s. We're going to go into the Big Eye here. We're going to try and activate the Big Eye, but it gets bounced by Sprint, which is a shame. Luckily we have a bunch of Kashtiras, so we're going to summon the Ogre, and then normal summon the Gren Maju. Unfortunately it's being reduced by the Chengying here, but that's fine. We'll activate the Birth to bring back the Fenrir once again, and we'll go to another Big Eye. I'm glad I run 3 of these. We'll activate the Big Eye to steal the Chengying, so we get attack buff, and he realizes he is dead. So without the Gren Maju here, our normal summon would have been the Psy Beast, which wouldn't have done much here. So Gren Maju does work, it really does help. So going into game 2, let's see what we open with. We're going second once again, and of course we draw a very nice hand for going second. Evenly matched, Infinite Impermanence, and Ash. We're going to start with the planet Pellerino. We're going to Ash that, because obviously it's limited to 1 for a reason. And then he's going to go into the Scream, summoning the Rhino Heart and activating the Scream to mill 3. We're going to use Infinite Impermanence on the Rhino Heart to hopefully stop his plays here. So he got a Keldo and a Scream off the mills. Luckily he's just going to add a trap and set that. We can just go Pot of Desires, which will go through. We're going to go Battle Phase evenly matched. Good game. We're going to activate the Birth and just set a Gren Maju. The strongest play you could ever make in any deck. He's going to normal summon the Merlin, and we're going to Ash that, to do another Ash of the Desires. He's got a Visa Starfrost, so he's going to special summon that using its effect, and then summon Mud Dragon of the Swamp, and then use those two to go to Baron the Floor. He's going to pop the Birth, which was his biggest mistake yet. He runs into a 4,000 attack Gren Maju. Now from this position, we are looking quite good. He's got no cards in hand, 1 set. We're just going to normal summon a Rise Heart. We're going to attack with the Gren Maju over the Baron, and then use the Rise Heart. We'll use the Rise Heart's effect, which we should have used before, but I didn't want it to get negated by Baron, so we used it after that to buff up our Gren Maju and banish another Kashtira. Moving on to our turn, looks like he hasn't drawn anything useful. We're just going to go straight to Battle Phase, and that will do it. Once again, without Gren Maju here, we wouldn't have won this game. Going into our third and final game here, this showcases that we don't need to see Gren Maju for Kashtira to work. Now we're going first, which is a nice start. We're going to go into our Unicorn, adding the Birth. This hand isn't too bad, but non-engined isn't great going first. We're going to use the Pot Desires and then go into our Rota, which would have already been a 3rd copy of Rise Heart anyway, but it works the same. We'll activate the Birth, specialing the Rise Heart, use the Rise Heart effect to banish the Fenrir, and then banish the top 3 cards of his deck face down, making the Rise Heart at level 7, and then we use it to go to Shanket Era. Then we're going to use the Kashtira Birth to summon the Fenrir. Fenrir adding the Ogre to deck, to hand, and now we have the Mind Hacker using 2 level 7s. This card definitely needs to be banned. We'll activate his effect, and we're going to get Havnist. Now I let this go through since I was under the impression that he can do this anyway, so might as well let him go off. We'll banish the Kit Kalos face down, use locking 1 zone, and then chaining the Mind Hacker to banish 5 face down. So he's luckily milled a Kelbeck, so he's going to mill 5 first before I get to banish them, which turns out to be quite painful. We'll lock another zone though, so that's fine. But he has got the Sulliek and the Scream off the mills. Very unfortunate for us. We'll Ash the Scream here, but he still will get the search off Sulliek, which is fine. I think we can still work through this considering our board right now. He's going to add the Shiren, and then we're going to lock another zone. We'll activate the Birth, banishing the 2 Kelbecks and the Scream from Grave, which lets us lock another zone, and then we'll set an Imperm and pass. Let's see what he can do here. Unfortunately, he ashes our standby phase special summon from Shangaira. That's fine though, we still have a decent board, and we've locked 3 of his zones. Hopefully we can lock some more somehow. He's summoned the Rhino Heart, and we're just going to Imperm that, just to stop him from doing anything else. He won't have any zones left, so surely this should be it. He's going to go to battle and just start attacking into the Mind Hacker to clear the parts on his board, but because this destroyed a monster by battle, I get to banish more cards face down, don't I? And then I can unlock more zones. Guess what? I banish more cards. And you're out of monster zones. Thank you for playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. So as you can see, this deck is quite fun. Although what you didn't see is the 10 other games that I bricked and drew just rubbish. I do recommend waiting until the new Kashtira support comes, but if you do have to play it like I do recommend playing Gren Maju. Great fun. If you made it this far in the video, please do feel free to hit subscribe. New Yu-Gi-Oh! Videos each week. And as always, happy dueling.